Right, hello chaps, and welcome to my first activity. So the idea is we're going to do some foraging, we're going to do some cooking, well, sort of cooking, and we're going to bring it all back here and we're going to make some pesto, but we're going to make it differently because we're going to make it from wild garlic. So the idea is we're going to get out into the countryside, find the wild garlic, collect that and forage that, bring it back here to the studio, and we're going to make it in front of you, and you can have a go at that when you're at home. So let's go out and find the garlic. So gentlemen, the idea is to try and find the wild garlic. Now we've come to this ridge, which amazingly is actually an old railway, and it was stopped being a railway in 1951, but enough of the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff. This is what we're looking for. So this, chaps, is wild garlic, and the way you can prove that it is wild garlic is if you spit it up a few times and then give it a sniff. It really does smell like garlic. If you notice, as you come down and have a little look, it also has these little flowers that are starting to come through. And if you look down the bottom, they're actually, when you pull it out of the ground, there are some little bulbs. You can see a little bit of it, a little bit on that. But anyway, what you need is a good bag full of this stuff, and from that, I'll explain what we're going to do next. See you back at the studio. Okay, and welcome back. So the idea is, gentlemen, to make pesto from wild garlic. We're also going to use some toasted walnuts and some Parmesan cheese. Now the walnuts I literally took straight out of the packet. We can use those direct. With the Parmesan, you need to grate it using a fine grater. You're also going to need a jar that you can seal. This is a kilner jar. And you need some olive oil and of course a food processor. But going back to the wild garlic for a second, it is vitally important that you make sure that you're actually getting wild garlic, and it comes in these large leaves as I showed you when we were outside. And it's important you get and go with someone to make sure that you have this. Oh, incidentally, you should also be wearing an OAB apron, and these are available from Amakai Brewer and I, exceptionally reasonably priced. Anyway, so we've got a food processor. Now this one is incredibly difficult to use and it has so many health and safety features on it. The chances that this is going to work first time, well, it's not a very good chance, to be honest. So the idea is we're going to put the wild garlic into the food processor. Now remember, I said I'd washed this, given it a good clean because obviously it's been outside and there's animals and all sorts of other things out there. So there's the wild garlic. I'm going to put in 1 packet of the walnuts, and these were just walnuts from the supermarket. And also I'm going to put in the Parmesan cheese. Now because of lockdown, I couldn't actually get a block of Parmesan. This is just 1 pack of already grated Parmesan, and put that in as well. Now the recipe says we add to that some olive oil. And so it doesn't tell me how much olive oil, so I'm just going to put in quite a lot of olive oil. That'll do for now, and we'll give it another look. And now comes the difficult bit, because I've got to get this thing to work. And there are loads of little health and safety things in there which are probably going to stop it from working, but we'll give it a try. So take 1. Oh, amazing. So just done that for a few seconds and having a look inside. I'm going to give it a little bit longer, but that's probably doesn't need much more than that. And add a bit more olive oil because it looks just a little bit dry. One more go with the food processor. And that's probably done it. So what you're trying to achieve is a consistency that looks, can't get it all, there we go. Consistency that looks a little bit like this. What pesto actually looks like when you buy it. So we'll spoon some of it out into the jar. Excuse me while I get a spoon. So we'll spoon it into one of these jars. And I use this jar basically because it's got a really good seal on it. Mum's probably got one of these in the kitchen somewhere. I'm definitely not going to have made enough here to fill this. But And I'm going to get some kitchen roll. I'm going to get a tea towel actually and just wipe round the edge. And it says in the recipe, in order to seal this in, put some more olive oil on the top to allow it to seal. A little bit on the top. Seal it up. And it's done. So there we are. We've got wild garlic pesto. That's potentially the quickest piece of cooking I've ever done, and that's how I like it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.